welcome everyone to Beyond the Badge. I'm Steve Fecto from Talent Development and Learning. It's my pleasure to be the host of Beyond the Badge, and I know our audience is filling in as we speak and growing. We have another great episode of 19 stories plus 2 additional ones in our program. Some folks from emergency medicine who weren't able to be here today. You can read their stories in your program. But I've got a backstage filled with some excited teams and individuals who I can't wait to share their stories with you. As you saw in the opening, if you saw our opening credits, these stories come from our system daily huddle. And special thanks as always to the team who leads that huddle, Joseph Mary, Swati Garg, Hillary Polly. They host this huddle of our senior leadership from across the entire health system. And they do an operations huddle, make sure we're set for an excellent, smooth, high quality, safe day at Mount Sinai. And in every huddle, they take a pause. And they've been doing this for several years now. They take a pause where one leader knows it's their turn to share an employee story, to recognize someone, whether through a patient letter, through a peer recognition, like a star recognition that's been submitted, a one-time event that might have been some miraculous moment. They say, wow, I've got to share this story of what happened last week. Or even just spotlighting a special program or someone's work over a career of service, 30, 40 years, and they wanted to recognize that person. They know they have one chance this month to share a story. And the stories we're going to share are the collection from April, the 21 stories that were shared on that huddle. We've got them. We've got the people. We're going to give them a chance to share this story and respond to it in front of their family, friends, and guests. So thank you all for being here. As always, if you're new to the show, and this is what I was just telling our honorees, if you're new, it's probably because you're here for someone you know. So thank you for being here. Get into that chat. That's your way to participate. You can sit back and watch, but get in the chat and tell them how much you love them and appreciate them and value them using that chat. Send it to everyone, not just hosts and panelists, to everyone so we can all see your praise for your honoree. But welcome back to our regular audience, who is our leadership team. They're the folks that come every month to be inspired by the stories of our employees living the Mount Sinai values and our We Find a Way brand promise. I see the same names coming month after month, and I so much appreciate our leadership team who makes that commitment to employee recognition and appreciation and engagement. And I always like to start by calling a couple up, and I've got 2 great guests, senior leaders who would love a chance to welcome you. I'm going to go first to Emma Palmer. I would love to have come up. She's come here before, done this opening before. Emma, welcome back. Emma's our Senior Vice President of Government and Strategic Affairs for the Mount Sinai Health System. And Emma, I'd love to give you a chance, since I see you here, to welcome our audience today.
Oh, well, thank you so much and welcome everybody. I love joining these. I think this is what Mount Sinai's work is all about, frankly. You all are truly the definition of one Mount Sinai, and the work you're doing on the front lines is just incredible. And taking this moment to pause, we all live hectic lives at work and at home, but taking this moment to pause and say thank you, it means a lot to everyone here. And I also just want to recognize how much work it takes for these families to write these notes. We all know that really is the extra mile. And so many of you are doing work that doesn't get the letters, but the ones that do get the letters means that you've really dug deep. And we just want to say, genuinely, thank you for the work you're doing. So I won't take much time. I know there's so many stories today, but genuinely, you have the system's gratitude.
Thank you, Emma. And I love, because you're in a system role, and to say the one Mount Sinai is what this show is about too. We're from all of our different hospitals, our ambulatory practices, the network practices, service lines. It really is a system event. So thank you for setting the scene for that.
No,
another
thank you.
guest who I know is so into employee recognition and appreciation and engaging with our staff across the system is Pam Abner. Pam, I'd love to have you come on up. Pam is our Senior Vice President and Health Equity Officer for the Mount Sinai Health System, as well as the Chief Diversity and Operations Officer for the Office of Diversity and Inclusion. Hi, Pam. Love to give you a chance to say hello.
Good to see you, Steve. And I'm so happy to be here. To me, just recognizing staff is like, it's one of the things that I think is most important for the organization. There's so many of you who, bring yourselves to work every day and do the hard stuff that has to get done. I spent many years in human resources, and, I really enjoyed the time then when we got to do those things and recognize staff and pause to do that. So I bring that forward and what we do today, through diversity, equity, and inclusion focus, knowing that you all make all the difference in the world. Our patients heavily rely on you. Our organization would not work or would not be who we are without you. And I love that, the time is spent today focusing on you and having your family, friends, and other supporters here. It's so important and it's wonderful. So I'm happy to be here. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and please continue to do all the fabulous work and things that you do.
Well, thank you so much, Pam. I know you're going to love these stories. I've been reading them all throughout the month. They're so spectacular. And in such a diverse range of roles that you're going to see today, of really touching all the different corners of the work that's being done here at Mount Sinai. So sit back, enjoy, and I thank you for opening us up. And to all of our leaders, again, thank you for continuing to come back month after month to celebrate our staff. Special thanks also to the team that's helping me out. That is Michael Joseph, Khadija Tu Muhammad, and Jessica Rubin. You'll see them supporting us throughout the chat and making sure our group of 19 honorees and teams backstage are coming up smoothly. They make me look good up here. As well as our committee members. Our Mount Sinai Spotlight committee members are the ones who are going to be reading the stories that you hear. They're the folks that are really committed to employee engagement and recognition and appreciation efforts and patient experience across our health system. So that's who's going to be reading the stories, the representatives from all of our different sites. One final thing, new to Zoom, we just used it last month, is the resources button. You should all be able to find a resources button in your bottom panel. Check that out. There's our program for today's event that has our order. There's also links to STAR and to the program. And we even added a speaker section where you can see a quick blurb about, with a quote from each story that we're going to share here today and follow along that way. With that, I've got 19 stories to share in the next hour, so let's get to it. And I'm going to start with the team awards we're doing here. First up is from Mount Sinai West Ambulatory Leadership. I'm going to have Andres Moreira, who's representing West, come up to share a story about the orthopedics front desk team, which includes Catherine, Destiny, Yoland, Mayer, Belinda, and Melanie. Welcome, and Andres. Let's hear about the orthopedics front desk team.
Lovely to see them all on screen, and so excited for today's episode. So today's recognition is the front desk team at our Mount Sinai West orthopedics practice is constantly focused on providing the best patient experience. Their phenomenal teamwork and commitment to excellence is seen in our monthly review of our patient experience surveys through positive comments like these, quote, "The front desk staff is friendly, always smiling and welcoming. The front desk is well run with friendly, caring people who make eye contact. Imagine that." These people were so warm at the front desk. The staff at the desk was exceptional. Belinda was very professional and showed me the utmost respect and was patient with me. The staff in the registration area are always pleasant to deal with. The receptionist at this practice is great, and the weight room is great as well. We are so grateful to have Catherine, Destiny, Yolande, Mayer, Belinda, and Melanie on our Mount Sinai West ambulatory team. There's so many wonderful comments that our patients leave for all of you, and you make such a lasting impression during what can be a really anxiety-filled appointment. So thank you all, and congratulations on this recognition.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so someone, a spokesperson for this team, if you've identified, who can describe the environment this team creates and provides for your patients as they visit the practice? You know, what do you see as the key element that leads to a patient letter like this?
Hi, my name is Yolande. Thank you so much again for the opportunity. The rest of our team couldn't be present today, but I know that I can speak for us all when I say that we try our best to create a welcoming and easygoing environment for our patients. We feel like prioritizing communication with patients is key in order to make their first interaction here at the practice as positive as possible. So that's how we create such a warm and welcoming environment.
Right. It doesn't just happen. You've got that intent.
Exactly.
This
Yes.
is what we're aiming to do for every patient, that first impression, that welcoming behavior, and that is hitting. And that's coming through in letters like this where they're mentioning you by name.
Yes.
Wonderful. Well, I can feel welcomed already just seeing you. And the positive, you use positive as a key word, and that's what I'm feeling from this team. So congratulations. Thank you so much for making such a difference for your patients.
Thank you.
All right. And thank the rest of the team too. Andres, West came up at the beginning and end of the month, so we're going to be back to you in a little bit. But next I'm going to go to Mount Sinai Morningside Ambulatory. The 638 Columbus Ave Urgent Care Team was recognized. I'm going to have Tyler come on up and read this story. I believe we have Dr. Ciccatelli and Adrian Jordan representing the team. It's a busy ambulatory urgent care practice. So there's also Chalisa and Shaheen who couldn't be here. But Adrian and Dr. Ciccatelli, we're going to have you present as Tyler reads this story.
Yes, awesome. Thank you, Steve. So excited to recognize the incredible team from our 638 Columbus Avenue Urgent Care. The team received a handwritten card from a husband and a wife who were recently seen at the practice and said, "We have never been to a place like this, especially a medical facility. From the moment we walked in, every single person was so lovely, pleasant, had a sense of humor, and made us laugh. It makes me want to be sick more often." Like really, when we were done with the appointment 20 minutes ago, and we're still here hanging out. We asked if we could go to someone else's appointment, but we were denied. Please let us know, even if you ever open up a psychiatric unit, and we'll check in right away. So thank you, Dr. Ciccatelli, Adrian, Cheyenne, and Chalicia. You are also wonderful. So again, on behalf of me and the team, just what this team just continuously proves over and over and over again that a little kindness goes a long way and can make such a positive impact on people's lives. And we're so fortunate and grateful to have them part of the Morningside team.
Absolutely. What a funny card. And, so we know, so patients should know not to panic if your waiting room's full, because many of them are just there hanging out because they're enjoying it so much they don't want to go home. So good to know. So Adrian, Dr. Ciccatelli, I'd love to hear what you think makes this practice environment so unique and special that you feel makes the biggest difference for your patients.
Yeah, I think, largely we're one big family at urgent care. A lot of us have been working together for, quite some time. And even the new people who have joined us, they just fit as part of the family. And a lot of these patients kind of become family. And that's what we do. We treat you like family from when you step in. Throughout your visit, we're cracking jokes, we're making you feel comfortable. And we want you to come back because you're part of our family.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Adrian, anything to add there? And come off mute for me.
Yes, I definitely can agree with Dr. Ciccatelli. We are one big family. We've been working together for a long time. Our patients are our number one priority, and we treat the patients as if the way that we want to be treated. We have patients that come all the time. It's our urgent care, it's not the primary care, but like I said, they come all the time. So we know them personally outside the job. We know them inside too. So they bring us gifts, they bring cards, they bring flowers, they feed us, they really appreciate them. And most of all, we appreciate them because without them, we wouldn't have this position,
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but we love yes, definitely.
Here they are writing cards even before they leave. Like, I'm not even going to go home. I'm going to sit here in the waiting room and write this card. Really amazing. And I love how you said, it started with the team family unit and how you are together, and then how that extends to the family feel for your patients.
Yes, and we've been together for several years, so we definitely family,
Spectacular story. I know it's one I'm going to quote often of patients hanging out after their appointment because they enjoy their experience so much.
Yeah, they definitely hang out. After the visit, they want to talk. They want to hang around. They want to go home.
Oh my God.
They just want to be around the good energy.
Well, thank you so much. Please extend our thanks to the rest of the team, who I know a busy practice. They're out working with patients, but thank you all for being here. And
well, thank you so much for having us.
All right, thank you. One more team. We're going next to Mount Sinai South Nassau, where I have Olivia McGregor representing South Nassau team, and it's the ambulatory surgery unit team who is ready to go. I hear the cheers already. Let's get them up. Josephine, Sherry Lynn, and Kathy. Hello.
Hi.
And many fans and supporters. All right, Olivia, let's take it away.
Thank you, Steve, and welcome, team. A patient wrote the following letter to express their appreciation of the ambulatory surgery unit at Mount Sinai South Nassau. Everyone I came into contact with during my stay were all caring, compassionate, and special in their own way. My pre-op nurse, Josephine, checked on me and answered all of my questions, including confirming an appointment and where I needed to go. Sherry G was on duty when I awoke from surgery. She displayed a very positive, upbeat personality as she cheered me on as I walked up and down the ambulatory surgery unit. Sherry T was my nurse Thursday evening. I take certain medications, and to be safe from side effects, Sherry texted the doctor to confirm it was okay for me to be taking them. On Friday, Kathy was watching over me. She ensured I got the proper clearance so that I could go home and canceled me on my medications and home care. You have some very wonderful people working in your ambulatory surgery unit. Thank them all for making a stressful time a pleasant experience.
So here's what I love about this one. So we know that the patient experience is the sum of all interactions. And here we see this patient comment of interactions across several days of their experience, not just a single experience, but their full experience over several days. So how does this team on this unit collaborate to ensure this seamless, exceptional experience?
Well, thank you. Well, my name is Sherry G. So I was the one that was cheering when he was walking down the hallway. But
Okay.
a good example of how we provide that special care is that this is literally my whole team. So everyone here is pre-op, post-op, even the unit clerks. We really create a journey for the patients, and I think it really helps ease their anxieties and their worries coming to surgery, because even starting with the unit clerks before the surgery, the night before, they make a phone call, they introduce themselves, they tell them how they need to get prepared, and then when the patient comes in the morning, they actually put a face to the name. So they're like, oh, you called me yesterday. And then they meet the pre-op nurse, they admit them, and then they prepare them before they go into the surgery. And then they go to the recovery room, the PACU. Then they come to us in post-op. And literally when they come back, what we've noticed a lot of times that happens is the patient goes, oh, I know you, you admitted me. Or they're like, I was in this room before. So there's a lot of comfort in that familiarity that they develop. And because they know that they're one step closer to going home, and it helps a lot with their healing process.
Yeah. So I love it. I love what you're saying, because you're looking at the journey and knowing everyone knows what their touch points are to make an exceptional moment within that full journey, and together as a group. And I know everyone was certainly involved, although there were 4 mentioned by name, as part of that journey and supporting each other and your patients. So very well put. Thank you so much to this team and for this excellent letter you received. Okay, thank you so much, ambulatory surgery unit team. Thank you, Olivia. Yeah, there we go. Keep cheering and cheer for others in the chat now. I'm going to move on to our individuals. We got many more stories to share. We're going to keep going with the appreciation by patient. So these are more patient letters that came in. I'm going to go to faculty practice, Mount Sinai Hospital's faculty practice. We have Jonathan Benway, who I'm going to call up next, and Amy Nelson is representing the faculty practice to read this story.
Thanks, Steve. A parent sent the following message to her children's pediatrician to express appreciation for medical assistant Jonathan Benway. Yesterday, there was a medical assistant named Jonathan that roomed us. He performed their vision and hearing test, vitals, as well as their lab draw. Jonathan was super efficient, kind, welcoming, and just had a really great energy about him. He seemed to enjoy his job, and best of all, he made the kids feel very comfortable. I really appreciate this level of service and his compassion. He was genuine and natural with the kids. He made my kids feel safe, and while doing that, he was incredibly friendly and kind, which is so very important in his role. Separate from the customer service and job skill, my kids thought he looked really cool. Not everyone puts care into their appearance, and for the kids to call that out, I think worth mentioning. Kids like cool. Please extend our appreciation to Jonathan. He's a star. Your team is lucky to have him.
Thank you, Amy. And I love that line. And you know, this parent shares so many attributes that she saw in you through the eyes of her children. You made them feel safe. You were cool. You were kind. You were genuine and natural with them. And I'm wondering, Jonathan, if you can tell us about your approach and to caring for children specifically that makes you shine in their eyes as well as the parents' eyes.
So pretty much my approach focuses on creating a comforting and engaging environment for both the parent and the patient alike. I try to demonstrate empathy, compassion, and patience, because I know children are sometimes unpredictable and can be a little hard to work with, but I provide my patience with them so they don't feel rushed. Neither the patient or the child feel rushed at all. I try to use my encouragement and professionalism with my healthcare knowledge to reassure the patient that and the parent alone that they're in a safe environment and they're in great hands.
There you go. Well, we'll start with empathy, one of our values. But well, I mean, even just picturing the pediatric patient and how you're communicating with them, but knowing what the parent wants to hear and how they feel safe and they feel comfortable, and you're showing your professionalism that you know what you're doing, even though you're relating to the kids on a different level that has you looking cool with them. You're giving both what
I think it was the scrubs that day because I had like a nice.
Did you have different scrubs? You got your cool scrubs?
I had the cool ones on.
Okay. Well, so well put, Jonathan. Great role model for what we look to achieve here with our patients at Mount Sinai and celebrating our values. Thank you so much. Okay, thanks, Amy. We'll see you later for another faculty practice story later on. But next, we're going to go to Andres. Be ready for 3 in a row. We're going to clump together these patient letters from West and West Ambulatory that came up in the rotation. And first up is from Ambulatory, Omaira Alicea. And we'll take this story. Hi, Omaira.
All right, so very excited. So a patient shared the following to appreciate Omaira, an offsite senior medical secretary at our Mount Sinai West ENT practice. Quote, when you need surgery, it can be scary. From my first contact with Omaira, I knew I would be well taken care of. The process to prepare for surgery took several weeks, though Omaira responded to every single message the same day. If I called on the phone, she answered. Despite knowing how busy Dr. Y's practice is, she made me feel like I was the only patient. When you're a sick patient, you can be grumpy or impatient, but Omaira's calming demeanor made me feel like I would be okay. Her attention to detail and her responsiveness are not something you come across in healthcare every day. She is a beautiful person, and I am blessed to have met her.
Oh, thank you. A really nice letter. And then, Omaira, I got to share, your manager added to that a patient's never wondering if they'll get a call back if their request is completed because, quote, Omaira is on it. She understands the importance of putting the patient needs first. And I'd love to hear you speak to that. How would you describe the personal commitment you make to your patients and putting their needs first?
So I'm committed in providing compassionate care to every single patient that I come in contact with. So this is for every single patient that I deal with on a day-to-day basis. Oftentimes patients they come in distress, they're seeking a solution to new or ongoing illnesses. And I try to put myself in their shoes in order to give them the best individual and unique care that they need and deserve. The type of care that I would like for myself or my loved ones.
I love that the consistency is the best individual and unique care. Really, empathy. I'm going to keep holding this up. Understanding what each person needs and getting there first and then being able to deliver on it. And that's such a special talent and makes such a difference as we see in this patient letter. Thank you so much, Omaira. Wonderful. And thanks to your team for really shouting you out with all caps in the chat. They are eager to celebrate you. All right, but Andre, stay with me. We're going to go to the Mount Sinai West recognition statement, which was for Dr. Katrina Crepano, an amazing patient letter that came in. We'll bring Dr. Crepano up and have you share this story.
Perfect. So I'd like to share highlights from a patient letter recognizing ER Dr. Katrina Crepano. Quote, we took my 95-year-old dad to Mount Sinai West, and I wanted to let you know that in my many years of caregiving, which have included frequent visits to the ER, this last hospital trip was by far the easiest and the most pleasant, and it's all because of Dr. Katrina Crepano. I cannot say enough about this impressive young physician. From the start, she established a blueprint of how the visit would proceed, which reassured us greatly. With every visit she made to our room, she showed not only keen instincts and great competence, but also that she was invested in my dad's recovery as we were. She demonstrated exquisite bedside manner, manifested in seemingly small things that actually go very far. She held my dad's hand when she spoke to him and addressed him with patience and respect. She spoke to me with the same warmth and respect as well, listening to and validating our suggestions and our concerns. I am truly thrilled for the patients and the families who will go in and out of that emergency room and be placed under her care. Congratulations, Dr. Crepano.
Thank you, Andres. And I'll share with the audience, it was a tough one to get in here because the letter itself was at least 3 times this long. We had to shorten it a bit, but another excerpt commented on how so often this family member realized this patient had been ignored or dismissed in urgent care settings because of his age. And I'd love to hear from you, Dr. Crepano, on, in a busy ER setting, how is it that you find a way to help patients feel seen, particularly those who may often feel dismissed or invisible?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, those words are very powerful, so thank you so much. But the ER can definitely be a very overwhelming and chaotic place for anybody who's walking through the door. And we do need to remember that this could be the worst days of their lives for these patients and for their families. And we really need to show them as their doctors, their providers, that we are human as well. And we provide a very supportive and welcoming environment. Just because somebody is 90 years old or carries a diagnosis of dementia doesn't mean that they don't understand what's going on or don't sense the energy that's around them. So I definitely notice some things make a difference to make them feel seen and cared for, and certain things like leaning in, holding a hand, touching their shoulder, actively listening to them, and also just engaging them, the patients and their families, in their care. And while our time with them can be limited, it really does, just like a few extra uninterrupted seconds make a huge difference. And for me as well, it just really helps me knowing that I have a really strong team of colleagues to depend on when we're trying to tackle a really busy shift. So ultimately, it's definitely a difficult job. It's not easy, but compassion, teamwork, and empowerment, I think, really do go a long way.
Well, being in that moment and recognizing those little things like a touch make a difference. And this is the family member who recognized that, not just the patient, but the family members saying how much those things made a difference to their experience in advocating for their patients. So a wonderful letter. I really enjoyed the entirety of that letter, and we're so glad we could share some of it with our audience today.
It really touched me. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. Andres, hang with us one more. At the end of the month, you got to share another story from Mount Sinai West, and that was for security officer Octavia Lewis. And if we have Octavia, here we go. Let's hear one more from West.
Absolutely. We'll keep them going and loving the theme of empathy and teamwork as we share today's stories. And that is true for Octavia as well. So another patient letter wrote the following to express her appreciation for Officer Octavia Lewis and the security staff at Mount Sinai West. Quote, "My mom is here for a series of procedures, and this morning, a woman named Octavia helped my mom into a wheelchair and then proceeded to guide us over to the surgery entrance. She did not have to go the extra step of walking us over, but she did so without hesitation. It is these extra steps that leave a lasting impression and I feel so often get overlooked. I do not envy the jobs of security at a hospital. Dealing with people's under duress, not feeling well, and in fear of bad outcomes make for a very stressful environment. Not to mention the always present potential for a situation to escalate. To be able to manage a lobby full of that bustling around must be so daunting. I am so grateful for the kindness and the competence of the security staff. Your jobs are so essential and deserve to be recognized."
Thank you, Andres. And I want to thank this patient who really shows great empathy and understanding of the daily challenges our security officers face in a healthcare environment. And I'll just pause for all of us to express the same. I know everyone who works at Mount Sinai, take that pause to thank your security team and what they deal with on a daily basis and put themselves out there to care for our patients and also for us and ensure our security. And Octavia, it's a wonderful letter. And I'd love to hear you tell us about your mindset. How do you balance the role of safety and security with how you provide compassion and service to our patients and families?
I just basically try to put myself in their shoes because I also have family members, and when they go to other hospitals, I would like for them to be treated, well, like how I tried to do that day. I didn't think it was gonna go this far, but I'm just happy that I was noticed. I do things like this all the time, so it just felt good to be noticed.
Yeah, absolutely. And not everyone writes a letter. Emma said it early on. She talked about thank you to these folks who took the time to write a letter. But I hope you remember that so many people feel that way when you receive that kind of service, even if only a few of them write it out and send it in. And that's why we're so appreciative to get these letters. And I'm sure you make that feeling happen every day to so many.
Thank you.
Thank you, Officer Lewis. Great to meet you.
Thank you.
Is that your security officer?
Yes.
Love it. Congrats again. I'm going to move on. Unfortunately, Nelly Rivera isn't here yet. I got a word that she might not be able to make it. We're going to hang in and see if Nelly can make it in a little while. So skip Nelly in your program. We're going to go on to our next celebrant is Dr. Robin Varghese. Now, Dr. Varghese is from Mount Sinai Hospital, but was actually recognized by Network Practices leadership because the story started with a Network Practices patient who was then referred to Dr. Varghese at Mount Sinai Hospital. So I'm going to have Rebecca Asmussen from the network, who is responsible for sharing this story on the huddle, share it now with us.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. So after Dr. Brian Strisick evaluated a patient at our Cuba Hill location and performed a catheterization at Mount Sinai South Nassau, the patient was immediately transferred to Dr. Robin Varghese at Mount Sinai Hospital, and they wrote the following letter. "My surgery wasn't something I was planning on having, but it was life-saving. I now understand why Dr. Varghese was highly recommended. As a surgeon, he is a master and is fulfilling his purpose in this life by saving others. He also has an incredible bedside manner. I was completely at ease knowing that Dr. Varghese had my heart in his hands. Because of his expertise and skill and the team that he surrounds himself with, I am here writing this. Dr. Varghese, his team, as well as my cardiologist, Dr. Brian Strisik, are the reason I am still alive and, God willing, will be for years to come. Mount Sinai Hospital nurses and staff, thank you doesn't seem enough.
Thank you. Thank you, Rebecca. And Dr. Varghese, so I love this line that I was completely at ease knowing Dr. Varghese had my heart in his hands, completely at ease at this serious life-saving moment in their life. Can you share a little bit about how you build this kind of confidence and trust with patients who are literally putting their heart in your hands?
Yeah, thanks, Steve and Rebecca. I think this is a special patient in that he was actually a healthcare worker, so he sort of understands what goes on behind the scenes. And, as he says, when we're dealing with people's heart and their life, I think it's essential that we first start off with building a relationship. And so over the first 5 minutes, I just got to know him, and it so happened to be that he was so anxious about this operation because his dad had the same surgery and died. And so that was in the back of his mind, that he was not going to wake up and come out of this operation. And knowing that allowed our team to sort of care for him in a special way. And I think that gave us the outcome that we had. And he was so amazed and thankful by the way our network sort of brought him all the way out from Long Island to the city where we had the expertise for this operation. And I'm thankful for the kind words.
Yeah, very, very nice. And this is turning into the empathy episode. Understanding the person and what they're dealing with and what they're bringing with them, and then incorporating that into their care and how you're relating to them leading into the surgery and how important that piece is. And it led to this beautiful letter. Well, thank you so much. Really wonderful words and something for us all to take and be proud of about the services, the life-saving care that's happening here at Mount Sinai and with your team, Dr. Varghese.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And thank you, Rebecca. That wraps our patient story letters, although you can find one more in writing. Some of our emergency department folks, it's very hard for them to get out. One is for Mount Sinai Queen's physician assistant, Hamangi Patel, who was thanked by a patient's family for her efficiency and care to ensure a 92-year-old emergency room patient could be discharged to hospital at home on a Friday before they would have to stay there for the weekend. So they were appreciative. You can read that in writing in our program, which again, you can find in the resources tab here on Zoom. And there's one more. It was actually one from a colleague, for Millie Gleckler, a respiratory therapist from Mount Sinai Hospital, who was appreciated by a colleague following a busy day in the emergency department, commenting that in this fast-paced world of healthcare, Millie is a light of positivity. So you can read that whole story in your program as well. But I want to move on. We have just one story in the Stories of Excellence section. It is for Temidayo Elgabede. I'm going to bring Ellie Park from Union Square to represent. This was shared by Union Square leadership from Mount Sinai Downtown in our Stories of Excellence section. Ellie.
Thank you, Steve, and congratulations to all of the amazing staff being celebrated today. On one seemingly normal day, a front-end supervisor was working when they heard a strange sound like someone gasping for air. Sure enough, a patient was having trouble breathing and was choking on food. The supervisor ran inside and called Temi. While this was a terrifying situation for most of the staff, Temi came out and handled it with such ease and care. With success, he performed the Heimlich maneuver, and the item that was blocking her air passage, half of a boiled egg, was released. The patient was so relieved and grateful that it brought her to tears. Temi literally saved her life.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ellie. And, so many of us see the signs and know what the Heimlich maneuver is. How many of us have gotten the chance to, in that moment, have to perform it? And Temi, I'd love to hear your perspective of this story. What guided your calm and skilled approach as you came to provide this life-saving aid to the patient? And you're on mute for a second, Temi. If you can come off mute for us.
Okay, thank you so much for having me. I believe it's something that can happen to anyone, provided you put something or food in your mouth or you drink water. So I'm glad it happened where the patient could get the professional help. Right. And I want to use this opportunity to shout out my front desk team. Like, they did a great job, escalating the emergency accordingly. This is what I'm trying to do, and I take my education seriously. So in a situation like this, I have to quickly take care of my mind from fear and anxiety and remind myself that I have been equipped with the necessary problem-solving skills needed and be confident that I can resolve the problem facing my patient. So it's an opportunity, and I really, I'm glad I was able to help.
Right. Thank you, Tim. I mean, our emergency preparedness team will praise you these comments for sure. Have the training and understanding, be confident that you know how to do it, put aside the fears and anxiety and go and act based on your training and that you were ready for this and could handle this. And you did, and you saved a life that day. I'll share that they love this story so much, they accidentally shared it again the next month. So they shared it on the huddle twice because they love the story so much. And we're so proud of your effort and what you're able to do at Mount Sinai Union Square. All right. Thanks so much, Temi. And thank you, Ellie.
Thank you.
And next, we're going to move into our appreciation by colleagues section. These often come from star recognitions. So these statements that are so powerful that leaders say, this was such a great star that some employee submitted on behalf of a colleague that I want to share this one. So we put the star link in our resources. That's a great way for you any day and every day to say thank you to a colleague and write up something that you feel should be shared as a great recognition for a colleague. And that goes straight to them and their leader anytime you do that. But some of them are so great they end here. And the first one is Mount Sinai Health System laboratory leadership for the entire system. Recognize Jayanth Devuru, and we're going to bring in Jayanth and have Kathy Gilbert. Since it's a system role, we'll have Kathy from our marketing and communications team share this story. Hi, Kathy, and hi, Jayanth.
Hi, Steve. And Jay has multiple fans.
Yeah.
Clinical Laboratory Materials Coordinator Jay Duveru takes pride in prioritizing patient care and is well known for going the extra mile when assisting departments, leading to comments like these from department leaders. Jay's exceptional dedication to organizing the chemistry department over the past year has been truly outstanding. His ability to tackle any task or project with positivity, dedication, and sincerity is incredibly inspiring. Jay is a true team player, always finding a way to get the job done in a timely manner. We are truly grateful for his contribution. Another states, Jay has been an incredible support while we navigate operations without a lab assistant. He has assisted us with numerous tasks that otherwise would not have been done. And yet another says, Jay is a team player who at all times makes himself flexible just to accommodate the needs of my department as a top priority. What an awesome member of our lab team. Thank you, Jay, for your commitment, dedication, and for being a perfect fit for Mount Sinai's We Find a Way brand promise.
Yeah, Jay, so this wasn't one colleague or peer reaching out. It was several from different departments, all reaching out from different sites, all to share appreciation for you. So can you tell us a little bit about your personal commitment that you make to ensuring the success of the departments that you work with?
Well, my position originally was not meant to be doing all these things across all these sites. I work with a larger team at the clinical labs, and their dedication to and personal involvement with all the labs and making sure they function as well as they can really kind of rubbed off quickly. And since I was onboarded, I've been involved with multiple different sites, like was mentioned in the letter. I've been involved with most, if not, no, I think I haven't been involved with South Nassau, but almost every other lab across the system so far on some project or some kind of policy implementation, something. I try to make it my job at this point to be available for anything that could make the labs function better or be maintained in a better way. It's allowed me to learn a lot on the job, which I appreciate, but also it gives me experience moving forward to actually see where these different labs and different employees can grow and be compared to other systems and other hospitals potentially. So I appreciate all the people that have helped me work the way that I do.
Thank you. And they appreciate you. The letters are coming in from across the system. And I'm so happy to hear that, how your role has changed with your interest as your interest is explored, greater bounds. You've gotten that experience and you're making a difference across the system now. That's wonderful to hear. Okay, well, thank you so much, Jay. Congrats on receiving these recognitions from your teams around the system, and we're glad we could share your story today. Okay, next up, I know Albert Figueres, not here. Yeah, I don't think Albert's going to be able to make it, but I got to give him a shout out. 40 years of service at Mount Sinai Health System's radiology department at Morningside as a special procedures technologist. Albert has been helping people feel comfortable and calm during their scans in radiology for more than 40 years. So if you know Albert Figueres, give him a shout out. It looks like he's not going to be able to make it today. So I'm going to move on to Alexandra Lipchick from Morningside. So we're still going to call up Morningside and bring Tyler Geegan up back at Morningside for Alexandra Lipchick's story here in the Appreciation by Colleagues section.
Yes, thanks, Steve. So a colleague wanted to recognize inpatient dietitian Alexandra for embodying compassionate care for her patient, writing, Alexandra displayed incredible team spirit when assisting on a discharge for a patient on 6 West today. She was prompt and professional in addressing a young patient's TPN needs for home during what seemed to be a very hectic day for everyone. For our audience, TPN stands for total parenteral nutrition, which is when IV administered nutrition is really the only source of nutrition that a patient is receiving. TPN can be very challenging to coordinate, and our patient was able to be discharged home that day with plans to return to school in the coming week, which was really important to them personally. So the colleague says she was thankful to Alexandra for her support that day and every day. And on behalf of everyone at Morningside, we say the same thing. So thank you to Alexandra for all that you do for this patient and all of our patients.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, Tyler and Alexandra. I hope I got that right. I had to look it up what that was because that's not my field of expertise. But a really wonderful story of a colleague reaching out to share. And what they said is they shared this example to specifically recognize your incredible team spirit, what that spirit is you bring to the team. Can you share an insight into the commitment you not only make to your patients, but to your colleagues as well that would inspire them to reach out and appreciate you this way?
Yeah, so thank you so much for those kind words and for recognizing the impact that nutrition can have on our patients, whether they're in the hospital or on their discharge. So for this specific patient, if she couldn't get the TPN, she couldn't go home, and that was the only source of nutrition for her. So it was definitely super important. Our commitment to our patients and our collaboration with each other is why we're all here today. So, you know, everyone is doing a great job in that aspect, but I love having the opportunity to care for each of our patients each day here. I strive to be supportive and compassionate and a reliable colleague and coworker. So I love the mutual respect we all have for each other here. And that makes a huge difference in making sure we're able to provide the best care to our patients. I'm honored to work with each of the dietitians on my team and as well as my colleagues on the other departments who support each other. So whether it was helping with TPN and making sure my patient can get nutrition on our discharge, you know, we all work together to ensure that everyone can receive the exceptional care that they deserve here.
Well, thank you. And I said Jessica Kaplan, that's my coworker. All excited to see you in there. So it sounds like the spirit that they're feeling from you, it sounds like it's coming from your love for what you do and really caring about the patients. And they see that purpose-driven, you know, patient connection, and it brings that spirit up for the whole group, seeing you love what you do. Really wonderful. Thank you so much, Alexandra, and thank you, Tyler, for sharing. I'm going to skip. I know Willie Rivera was here and he stepped away for a second. We're hoping to have Willie back. I'm going to keep, my team's going to keep me posted on that. We're going to skip Willie for now and go to Digital and Technology Partners. Grace Vaz-Bernal is here and I'm going to have Seema Setia come on up and share this story. So we're jumping one. Hey, Grace, let's have Seema share this one and we'll come back to Willie Rivera in a moment.
Thanks, Steve. Congratulations to all recognized today. I am thrilled to share this story for one of my favorite colleagues. I say that in front of her face and behind her back, Grace Vaz-Bernal. She has a key role in communication within Digital and Technology Partners, and she is always there to lend a hand, communicates well, and does everything with a smile. Recently, as DTP has gone through change at the leadership level, Grace has been an amazing support for Dr. Darrow, the leadership team, and the staff in working to make our department a place where our staff want to work. Her partnership and collaboration have been invaluable for the department, especially in enhancing departmental communication and ensuring the success of the recent town hall. Her efforts have been instrumental in providing a wealth of information and support, greatly assisting in new employee transition and acclimation to the department. We are deeply appreciative of Grace's dedication and hard work, which have significantly contributed to our department's achievements and a positive work environment. Thank you, Grace, for everything you do.
Thank you, Seema. I know it's hard to have to stop and move on because Seema and I want to talk about Grace all day because Grace has been so helpful doing employee engagement and recognition work and has always been a role model contributor to what we do in the system in this work. And I've been seeing your name come up in the One Epic and Radiant work that's happening and even celebrating the team after that. So Grace, I love that you're the voice of DTP, both externally to our system and internally to the staff and how you are so proud of what they do. So I'd love to hear you speak about your work. What brings you the most pride in the work you do that encourages you to bring your full self every day?
Well, first and foremost, thank you so much, Steve and Seema, for all of your support, and congratulations to everyone here today. I'm honestly so honored and so humbled to be receiving this recognition, and really to be considered one of the many wonderful voices in DTP. But within our own department of, digital and technology, but also across the change management work and the project work that we do. It really means so much to me, and for me, it really means that it's working, that, the focus on the behaviors and the people, the work that I am so passionate about, that, it is resonating with folks. And this recognition, I think, is a testament to that. When I reflect on what brings me the most pride in the work that I do here at Sinai, honestly, it's all of you, the people, our stakeholders, our internal Mount Sinai stakeholders, our employees, and of course, at the end of the day, the work that we do for our patients, and just seeing all of us collaboratively work together, going beyond, the everyday expectations to ensure that we are serving our patients in our community, and we're doing it with such commitment and such excellence, and being surrounded by such talent, both in the PMO and DTP, really just kind of energizes me and brings a different level of making me just want to do more, be better every day, and just really inspires me. It's through this work and the people that I work with, they give me the passion, they give me the drive to reach greater heights. And together, I can honestly say I feel that we are doing that. Especially with this recent One Epic and Radiant implementation, it was, it's not always easy to do something so large like this, but just seeing the people come together on resolutions and learning and doing it with such great energy and a smile makes it all worth it. So to DTP, to those that nominated me, and Steve and Seema, thank you so much for all of your support. And this platform is truly amazing, and I hope that we continue to do this for many years. So kudos to everyone, and thank you for the support and the love. I'm honored.
Thank you, Grace. Really wonderful to hear you speak with that pride and passion for the work. And thank you to the entire DTP team for supporting our employees in supporting our patients and on all you do to make us successful for our patients. Thank you so much. And thank you, Seema. I'm going to go back. Willie is here. So we're going to go back one to Willie Rivera, Mount Sinai Hospital Faculty Practice Leadership Recognized Willie from Orthopedics. And we'll have Amy Nelson come on back to share this story.
An orthopedic supervisor wrote this statement to recognize and appreciate medical assistant Willie Rivera. I've had the opportunity to work closely with Willie since 2021. From the beginning, Willie was eager to learn and jump right into his job. He is receptive to feedback, but also shares his thoughts on how we can improve day-to-day workflows. Willie is reliable, thorough, and helps train new employees. He is always 2 steps ahead, thinks outside of the box, and ensures that clinical flow is running smoothly and efficiently for any physician that he is working with. Willie is overall an amazing part of this team, and I'm extremely thankful for all that he has done and continues to do. Thank you, Willie.
Thank you, Amy and Willie. So this story starts with your early commitment to accepting feedback while also contributing new ideas right from the get-go. And now you pass that experience on when training new staff. So particularly for our new hires, and we invite people who are new hires to orientation to come see Beyond the Badge to understand what it's like to work at Mount Sinai. So for our new hires, what's your advice on how to really thrive in either in their role in your department or even just to thrive overall at Mount Sinai?
I would have to say for my advice is just take it easy. Everybody is new going into any type of field. You're not going to get it right away. You're not going to get it perfect. I learned that from my supervisor who nominated me, Magdalena. So I feel like me paying it forward, take your time, just breathe. Just because things may seem hectic, if you become hectic, it's going to make everybody else just go downward. So just take a breather, relax, you got this. And that's my slogan to everybody in my department. Don't worry, you got this.
You don't worry, you got this. So really some empathy for a colleague to understand what it's like to not know, to do this for the first time, and just to help them and be a mentor for them as they breathe through it, give them the confidence and see them succeed.
Correct.
Really, really wonderful, Willie. Great advice, and thank you for continuing to orient new staff on what makes working in your department so special and being a Mount Sinai employee, how to thrive here. Okay, thank you, Willie, and thank you, Amy. If you're seeing in our program, we're looking for Maria Velez. She hasn't been able to join on just yet, so apologize there for Mount Sinai Hospital Ambulatory. If she comes on, we'll come back to it, but we're going to go into our final section then. We've got 3 more stories and one more even beyond that if Maria can make it. But this is our employee spotlight section. It's highlighting some great work that's either happened for many years or a special program or project. We're going to go first to New York Eye and Ear, where we have Laura Lay Rivera. And I'm going to have Christine Pescator come on up and share this story for Laura.
Hi, Steve. Thank you. Throughout her more than 23 years of service in the New York Eye and Ear Infirmary Vestibular Rehabilitation Department, Laura Lay Rivera has embodied our core values. As a physical therapist, Laura shows compassion and empathy for her patients and their families on a daily basis. While our setting is an outpatient one, during COVID, Laura was asked to transition to inpatient care, including bedside ICU at Beth Israel, to assist the hospital with discharges. This was at a time of great uncertainty and fear, yet Laura agreed to this without hesitation and handled the stress of the situation with grace. Laura is dedicated not only to her patients, but to all the patients at the Ear Institute. Her expertise, commitment to patient care, and professionalism are just a few of the things that make her an asset to this department.
Hey, thank you so much, Christine. So Laura, love this. Your leadership also shared that you have a long list of patients who only want to see you. And so I'd love to hear what you bring to the patient experience that you feel makes the difference in fostering good patient and family relationships. And you having trouble coming off mute?
Okay.
There we go.
Hi. So thank you, Christine, for that recognition. And thank you to my Associate Director, Jennifer Kelly, for the recognition. Yes, our patients are very special. I mean, we are a specialty clinic, so some of our patients travel far from outside the metro area to come and get their treatments here. I think active listening skills are so important. So each encounter with a patient or different encounters with the same patient. So I try my best to always use, really listen with my eyes and my ears to really understand and not to just reply, So I'll just give you this quote from Warren Buffett. People will long forget what you say or what you do, but they will always remember how you make them feel. So every time they come in, I actively listen to make sure that what their needs are being addressed. It could be emotional, it could be, more education. They have questions that need to be addressed. And some they're not interested. They just want the treatment and they get in and out. So I think that's, it's something that I've learned to develop over the years. It's not just listening, but like really listening to understand. And that includes using your eyes, not just the ears, right? So,
Yep.
so I think that's really, I've developed that, and I really try with every single patient very hard to be mindful of that. It's sometimes, not to remind myself not to be complacent, with the routines and, these patients are here and this is the moment, focus on the moment. So I think that that's really what I bring in terms of the patient family relationship. And our patients are, and I think you have to build that connection with them. Patients will come back and sometimes they'll say, they remember things that I'm ashamed that I've forgotten, but they'll remind me that, remember you did this with me. I was like, oh, thank you. And it could have been like 20 years ago,
Right.
So it's a very, a thing that you have to nurture, every interaction that you have with your patient, we are learning from them as well as,
Right.
we.
Well, it's a great message. I mean, even with over 20 years experience, you can become complacent saying like, I know how to care for patients. This is what I do. But in every single case, be patient and listen and understand them. And then you can be your best for each individual person. It's been a theme of the day and I love it. And you put it so beautifully. And thank you for bringing that into every patient interaction.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I want to give a heads up to everyone. I heard, although Maria Velez is out and away from the office today, her team is here. So we are going to go back and read this story. So God save her, be ready to read it at the end. I want to do the two more for those who are here. Steve Malcolm is up next from Mount Sinai, Brooklyn. So I'm going to have Katrina Bravo come on up and read this story for Malcolm.
Congratulations to all our celebrants today. I'd like to present our employee, Steve Malcolm, who's worked 30 years and committed to food services and nutrition department. Malcolm is very passionate and takes a lot of pride when it comes to making patients food. Malcolm arrives to work every day at 5 a.m. just so he can cook for the patients. He's constantly working with the executive chef to improve the service and quality of food we provide. Malcolm is an amazing employee and the food service team and Mount Sinai Brooklyn are lucky to have him. Thank you, Malcolm.
Yeah, thank you, Katrina. This was an example of the leadership realizing you had a 30th anniversary coming up here and said, we got to pause and just recognize Malcolm, who's for 30 years made this commitment to Mount Sinai Brooklyn and their patients. So can you share a little bit about what's at the heart of the work that you've proudly committed to at Brooklyn for 30 years?
Well, my goal is to make the patient happy and food satisfaction. And when they leave, they always say they're coming back just for the food, not for the treatment. So I'll try my best to make sure they're happy when they go in or when they come in. So my goal is to make sure the food is excellent.
Excellent. Well, Malcolm, for someone to say they're coming back to the hospital for hospital food, it says a lot about the work you do and the love that you bring into the work that you do. And for 30 years to do that and to start and lead with the people you serve as what drives your passion is very inspirational.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Malcolm. And congrats on your anniversary.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Katrina. We're going to share two more stories. Like I said, we're going to come back to Maria in a moment, who couldn't be here, but we're going to read her story. But first, let's go to the ambulatory care call center. We have Lakeisha Robinson here, and we'll have Sadiqa Horn share this story from the Access Center.
Hi, Steve, and congratulations to all the honorees today. Lakeisha Robinson has been with our Access Center team since 2016 and is a great asset to our rehab team. She has consistently played a key part in our overall success and is always adapting to change within the Access Center field. Lakeisha is very knowledgeable about department's workflows and is always willing to help her team members. She's always greets our customers with positive and uplifting energy, and her skills continue to provide the support needed as we strive for patient satisfaction. Our team appreciates Lakeisha for her hard work and her dedication to our patients and her fellow teammates. Thank you for bringing your best to work every single day, Lakeisha.
Thank you, Sadiqa. And Lakeisha, so with 8 years experience in our Access Center, what have you found to be the keys to a positive experience that you're able to provide to our patients?
I just want to say thank you before I answer for the recognition. I would say I think it's important to just kind of treat everyone like you would want your family member to be treated. I think it's also important to give grace because this might be someone's first time experience in a healthcare facility. So it can be a little scary and confusing at times. So I kind of just lead with that. And that's kind of been how I've guided and helped most of the patients that I work with. So that's kind of my little tips.
Well, thank you. Start with seeing them as family and listening through and what they need. And that's been our theme of the day again. And to be able to be that voice over the phone that's providing that positivity and that experience makes an incredible difference in the rest of their journey that they will have here at Mount Sinai. So wonderful, wonderful tips. Absolutely. Thank you, Lakeisha.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. And thank you, Sadiqa. Like I said, I know we're at 1 o'clock, a little bit of overtime. We have the manager from Maria Velez who's going to accept and speak about Maria on their behalf. Ronnie Williams is here. So God's favor. Oh, and we've got the whole team. I hope we'll get to record this and you're going to get it out to Maria and let her know how much we appreciate her with everyone cheering her on. So God's favor, let's share this story about Maria Velez.
Oh, it's my honor to talk about this team. They are hardworking. They are a complex team and caring for complex patients. And so let me read this story. OBGYN practice leadership submitted this recognition statement for Medical Clinical Associate Maria Velez. Maria's work ethic is admirable, and she is extremely knowledgeable regarding the clinical operations of the OBGYN practice. Maria is reliable, self-directed, proactive, and is always willing to assist her colleagues, providers, and practice leadership. She is known as the solver, as she always takes the initiative to figure things out. We would like to thank Maria for her unwavering dedication and commitment to the health system and for her efforts to provide exceptional care to the patients and staff.
Well, thank you, God's favor. Yeah, so for this team that's here, this is such a great way to end with a nice big group of people. This was our appreciation by colleague section. And here's all of Maria's colleagues here to accept this on her behalf and celebrate her. So you've nicknamed her the Solver, which is a perfect fit for our We Find a Way brand. How does she have this reputation? What is the reputation she has amongst you all?
If there's an issue, Maria has no problems with stepping up to help anyone, a nurse, admin, the providers, anybody. So she's a great asset to the team. She's been with the institution for many, many, many years. And she just never no pushback. She has a great attitude, go get 'em attitude. And no fear. Joint Commission came, no fear, just always ready to step in and do whatever needs to be done for the department.
For all of us.
All of us. So we have everybody here. We have admin here.
We're all here for her.
We have an NP. We have one of our attendings are here.
Wonderful.
So
well, nothing speaks more than nothing speaks more on what a great work Maria does for the team and for her patients than seeing you all so enthusiastic about celebrating her and joining her. So we're going to share this video recording to make sure she sees the outpouring of appreciation that you've given her. And thanks to Maria Velez.
Yes.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Have a great day to you all, and have a great day to our entire audience. That wraps another episode of Beyond the Badge. A story was shared this morning that we'll bring to you next month in our June episode. Every month we come back. So if you enjoyed this and you want to hear more stories from around Mount Sinai Health System of our employees that we can really look to for inspiration and guidance, you heard it today. So many great messages that drives them that are learning points for us on how we can excel in our work with patients and colleagues and here at Mount Sinai. So thank you all. Have a wonderful holiday weekend this weekend, and we'll see you soon.